Hey everyone, this is Rahul with the Alternative Investors Hangout, and today we have a returning guest. He is Don from the DayTradeShow. Thanks for coming on again, Don.
Thanks for having me, Rahul.
Okay, right now we're looking at the stock market. It's at 15,700-ish, around that range, and I saw this interesting note from Warren Buffett. It's actually, I think, last month, and he told Becky Quick that he doesn't see anything that's cheap in the marketplace. And we know that Warren Buffett has sophisticated metrics of getting in and out of the market when, number one, it's at a top, and then when there's a low, he gets in. And one of his flashing indicators, I'm not going to get into it, I actually did a video on it last night, is that Warren Buffett indicator saying that, hey, guess what, maybe it's time for me to get out of the market and be in cash. And I believe his SEC report states that he's in cash right now. So that being said, do you think that Warren Buffett has nailed another market top?
Well, I've never seen Warren Buffett nail a top in the market ever anyway. I really don't know what you're talking about. In 2007, his Berkshire Hathaway stock took a 52% plunge to the bottom, and he missed the entire NASDAQ move. He even admits that. Warren Buffett's a guy that he does a lot of things well, but picking tops and bottoms in markets, even he says he has no idea and never does a good job of that.
Yeah, that's interesting to note. I got that from you. I mean, I remember when his Dow 8000, this was 5 years ago, he was going in, buying in a bunch of stock. I think he bought Goldman Sachs, he bought General Electric, and then in 2000 he did, based on what I read, he did sell a lot of stock. I'm not talking about the actual Berkshire Hathaway stock. I'm just talking about the equities that he buys.
Well, like I say, I don't find Warren Buffett to be illustrative of much more than being a shrewd guy in terms of buying actual brick-and-mortar companies. His deal with Goldman Sachs was one where that was a sweetheart deal for him that not one person listening to you could ever get the same kind of deal he got. So, I mean, this is not a moratorium on Warren Buffett. He's made a lot of money. But in terms of picking tops and bottoms and getting in and out of the market, that I have not seen evidence of him being much of a wizard for. Now, is it noteworthy that one of the world's richest men is, as you say, in cash right now? I think it is noteworthy. You also have to consider he's an old man. He's probably got a lot of stuff on his mind that does not involve buying and selling and trading the same way that we would in our 30s and 40s or 50s or even 60s or 70s. To be honest with you, I don't read much into what Warren Buffett does.
That being said, what do you think of Dow right now, 15,700? Because I'm looking at some of the PE ratios, such as Amazon. It's ridiculous. I think it's around...
It's totally insane. It's complete lunacy. I mean, there's no... You can't justify this with... In fact, I read an article probably a week ago that talked about what's good for Wall Street is bad for Main Street. And this may have been even at like Bloomberg or something, kind of a Wall Street site. And when we were younger, I can speak for myself. I know I'm older than you, so I'll just go back to when I was in my mid-20s. There was this idea that I thought that the market was a barometer of the health of the economy. Well, now that's just ridiculous. No one thinks that. In fact, the only reason the market is where it is because either the belief that the Federal Reserve is handing money out or the actual handing of the money. So the market where it is now is a product of, and I hate to use the word manipulation, that's not really right. The market right now has nothing to do with valuation of companies with respect to earnings, whether the economy is any good or not. It's all about the idea that the Federal Reserve has inflated a bubble. And that's it. Now, how long could that last? I don't know. Maybe we'll go to Dow 30,000 before it rolls over. I don't know.
I mean, you're saying it's all the Fed. I think there are a lot of factors to that. I mean, there's the relaxation, the mark-to-market rule, so we don't really know what the hell is going on these banks' balance sheets. And
well, but no, you're right about that, but now remove the $85 billion a month. Now, what does mark-to-market look like if you remove $85 billion a month? $1 trillion over the last year. Everything that happens right now, everything, revolves around the fact that the balance sheets of these banks are getting cleared off. And I don't think any of us knows. And I'm just trying to be honest with you. I like to think that I kind of know what I'm talking about, but we are in territory that's completely uncharted, and I honestly don't know what the unintended consequences of what we've seen in the last 5 years are going to be. And as proof of my point, nobody could have predicted what the unintended consequence of the prior 20 years, most of which were Alan Greenspan at the Fed. No one could have predicted that. So I don't know what's going to happen. Maybe it is down 30,000 next. Why not 100,000? Who knows?
Yeah, before it reaches one of the levels that you told me on the previous podcast, Dow 80,000, I think there's going to be a short-term blip before you see the runaway nasty inflation that everyone's talking about. But moving forward, I want to talk about everybody's favorite topic on YouTube, and it's silver. I'm looking at it right now, 20.74 silver, and then gold is, I don't know, $12.70 an ounce. Your first thoughts on that?
I told you so. No, I'm just joking. I hear all the thumbs down now. No, I think that, well, I'm concerned if you're coming in and buying now, not you, but anybody, I'm concerned about the fact that we haven't seen capitulation yet. Now, Silver Stacker, they're not going to clear the dust off of their stack until the end of time. We've been told that. I actually believe that. I actually believe that the sorts of folks that watch Chris Twain or listen to Brother John F., those kind of folks, I don't think they're going to sell their stack. So you can't use them as a barometer. Now, I've talked about that before. I think what you have to use as a barometer in terms of capitulation is you have to look at the ETFs. And the ETFs have not seen a volume spike of any note. In fact, I think like SLV is probably at historic lows or certainly historic averages right now. And the buying frenzy that happened in 2011 is yet to be unwound. Now, there are a lot of folks out there, and this I think is key, a lot of folks who are sitting in these ETFs and a lot of funds, and we're coming up on the end of the year. And I would be concerned about some liquidations for some of these firms and some of these funds and some individuals who are going to throw in the towel in what we'll call the paper market. Now, whether or not it happens, I don't know. But if it did happen, why would we believe they couldn't rip $5 or $6 more off of the spot price of silver with a move like that?
I don't know if it's going to be $5 to $6 right now. I mean, I told you before that we could see lower silver prices at $14, $15 an ounce, but it won't be there that long, in my opinion. But if you're looking at the end of the year, we have to look at what happened a few years ago. We saw that silver got hammered. I don't remember exactly what the prices were, but are you talking about a similar type of liquidation that happened roughly 2 years ago?
In terms of volume, there's nothing at all in terms of the kind of size. I mean, back in 2011, in the buying nuttery of 2011, the ETFs were piling on billions of shares over days. Now, I did some numbers on this. We're talking about like 2 billion shares, maybe 3 billion shares in SLV over a week or so. An absolute freak show of volume that dwarfs. In fact, I bet you could add up all the volume since, and we haven't gotten there yet. Where is all that volume sitting? It's sitting in people's portfolios doing nothing but going south. You have to account for that, and malaise, which is what we see now, may turn into apathy and just outright selling. And why not? I mean, a lot of these folks believed a bunch of stories which have been hokum, and they didn't buy for the long term. They bought for the lottery ticket, and guess what? They lost. And what do you do with the lottery ticket you lose on? You rip it up and throw it away. Until that mentality, until apathy turns into throwing it in the trash and walking away, I don't think we've seen the bottom. I just don't know how we do. It doesn't track with any other bottom I've ever seen in any market, ever.
All right, Don, and before I let you go, how can people follow your work again?
Well, first of all, I meant to tell you, you need to begin to refer to me as the Silver Cobra. So that's one thing. Other thing is, if you want to go to my YouTube channel, it's just youtube.com/DayTradeShow, and you'll find me there, I guess, maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Just hanging out.
All right. Thanks for coming on again, Don.
All right, stack the smack, baby.